took everybody off guard. Not just the fact that he won. I think we all gave him a chance to win, but the way that he won, and came out of there practically unscathed, and just beat the hell out of Chandler. And you know, I guess there's for me, I mean, there's a little bit of I don't know how you feel about it or how others feel about it. There's a little bit of questions in me. It's like, okay, how great really was Chandler, or is Paddy really all that, right? Because Paddy, I seen a stat the other day. His last three opponents are like 1-13 or 0-13, some ridiculous stat like that. So, but also we've never seen. I mean, Chandler has absolutely fought the best, and he's beat some really good guys too. And especially like back in Bellator, he beat some really good guys. So yeah, I guess there's still a little question mark in my head. Like, was Chandler just not UFC material? Maybe did his head get a little bit off course, right? Maybe, played a little bit too much into the Arturo Gatti role that Dana kind of called him, right? Maybe bought into that a little bit too much. Or is Patty really all that good? I mean, he certainly looked good last weekend. Did he look like a champion? I'm not sure about that. I guess ultimately, I mean, the two things could both be true. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive, right? Chandler is either past his prime or just wasn't UFC material to begin with, right? And Patty is a top 10 guy. I think both things could be true at the same time. Like Patty proved to me that he is a top 10 guy. Um, you know, I wouldn't necessarily have had Michael Chandler ranked in the top 10 before that fight. Um, so like in my if I was doing the rankings, I would say you still need to be the top 10 guy to be in the top 10, but you are absolutely worthy of fighting a top 10 guy. I think that's what he proved. And fight somebody that's maybe on a win streak this time, and we'll see, now we'll really know where you're at. But you've proved that you are valid in that match now, right? Like you're not going to be discounted when you go fight a true top 10 guy. And and Chandler, I have the questions of was his best years in Bellator? And that's what I mean. But I mean, he's a great fighter. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I get the feeling that just his best years were in Bellator, and he got to the UFC a little bit too late. He was maybe out of his prime, or he just kind of bought into the hype a little bit too much, right? And kind of what I thought Justin Gaethje was going to turn into, like the guy that just goes out and puts on wars for fun, and you know, sort of the old Chris Lytle type guy, right? Like I'm just fighting for fight of the night type guy. And certainly he didn't turn out that way, but seems that Michael Chandler maybe has kind of turned out that way.